Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the December 15th webinar. This will be about D45 Club Growth with Jim Wisted, our DTM. He's going to be talking about the director's roles, the committees, and the incentives. This webinar is being recorded. Please put all your questions in the chat box, and they will be answered at the end of the presentation. And please turn off any cell phones so there won't be any distractions. I'd like to introduce our presenter this evening. His name is Jim Wisted. As I mentioned before, he's joined Toastmasters in 2011 and achieved the DTM in 2017. Has been past District 45 Public Relations Manager. Also has held the Area 19 Governor between 2012 and 2013. Division C Governor 2014 to 2015, and he was a member of the Spirited Speeches Club, which does not exist anymore, but he held all roles at the club executive. In his professional life, he has been a senior financial examiner and a prior information technology professional. Personally, Jim enjoys Toastmasters program more and more every day, always meeting new people, learning, developing, gaining new leadership skills, and most importantly, he learns a lot about himself and others. Please help me in joining me in Jim's presentation. Jim, take it away.
Thank you, Carolyn, and welcome Toastmasters and guests if we have any. So if I'm not speaking loud enough, let me know.
Could be a bit louder, Jim.
Sometimes I'm a bit soft-spoken, so if you can't hear me, let me know.
Sure.
So she's already introduced me, so I'm just going to go on to the first slide. So the club growth team consists of a marketing committee, a club extension committee, club sponsor committee, club mentor committee, club retention chair, and that has in it coaching committees. Or I would almost say, I said committees, but they're really, in our district, they're more coaching contacts. So now I'm going to go over each of these roles. Oh. Do I not have anything on marketing? Well, I'll go over marketing. So the marketing committee consists of, currently right now, it is chaired by Heather. Marion is the one that keeps the notes, and it has all the division directors. Now, as you know, Division G director is not going forward in January, but I'm going to be making some changes because of necessity. There's going to be a little bit of restructuring here, but we'll go with what things are right now. So the club extension chairs are Olivette Avizo, Donna Knight, and them two are for the United States. And then we have Patricia, who's for Canada, and that's one of the changes that's going to be made here. I'll be announcing it in the next week or so. The committee is responsible for generating, managing, and tracking leads. So if we get a new club, or like we get a new club, we get questions of our new clubs, they need sponsors, mentors. We usually go through the extension committee to do that. They manage all new club leads within the boundary of the district. Leads can come from TI. They can be revisited club leads. Leads can also be from members, or in the Toastmasters lead management system. I don't know how many of you know what that is, but it's a system that Toastmaster has. We can see leads as they come in, or if someone makes an inquiry, we can see it. I don't find it always is up to date, but it is a tool that's it's available. Club sponsor committee. Right now, that's Heather Perkins, and that consists of recruiting, training, tracking sponsors for all clubs that charter or in the midst of chartering. Members of this team deal with the curriculum, ensure sponsors effectively serve their clubs, work with sponsors, ensure they receive sponsoring credit from TI. So when there's new clubs, these are more focused on new clubs. So when you start talking about sponsors, this is usually what you're talking about. So keep going here. So I'm just going to go through everything, and then I'm going to be easier to focus on questions. Club mentor committee. In our district, it kind of looked like two separate. I just sort of follow the Toastmasters breakdown of it, but for us, mentoring and sponsors we have is just one. It's handled by one person in this district. This committee recruits, trains, and tracks mentors for all clubs, especially clubs that are in midst of chartering. Because when a club starts up, it'll need mentors. It'll need people to guide that club. To ensure they receive their, and to receive that, make sure that people receive their credits for doing mentoring. So when you form a club, you generally need a couple of mentors as well within sponsors. Club retention chair, that's Tom Goodwin, DTM. I did put his credential there. Tom handles right now the coaches for the US, and Madhu Kanji handles Canada. I'm going to be making a change there. I'm going to make the club retention chair in charge of the coaches, and I'm going to be changing the coach in the US, but that'll come out in an email. This committee recruits and trains club coaches and consults to help them develop action plans and to aid in assigning clubs. The potential coaches are usually in the location. They are usually identified from a roster of people who let me know, or let Madhu or Tom know. Now, one thing about coaching, a lot of people don't realize, your credits are from for the calendar year. So even if you get appointed in November, your 2 years is the rest of the year till the end of June, and then the following year to the end of June. That's how long you have. Now this year, there's a bit of a difference on the coaching. If you can get a club distinguished by the end of June of 2020, you get a leadership credit for it, but that's only for this year. That was something that TI put in place. Members of the team follow up continually with the coaches and consult and monitor the effectiveness of their action plans and suggest adjustments where they're needed, and provide. Like, one thing about coaches, a lot of people don't realize, you're not in there to run the club. You're in there to help them. So if they maybe take a role, to let them see how to do it. Sometimes what happens is club coaches get taking too much of an active role, and you're doing a little more than guiding. You're actually doing the club stuff. So, you know, a coach has to do some, don't get me wrong, but if that's all they're doing, they're not really doing much coaching. Incentives. Now we have club open houses for District 45. We have trade shows. We have spring membership retention campaigns. We have Talk Up Toastmasters and Beat the Clock. Now, open houses. First, you get $25 to defray the cost of the club if one guest joins to become a member, or if two guests join. The club can get back $50 towards their expenses, and we sort of expect that to happen within 30 days after the open house. You're allowed to have 2 open houses a year. If more than one club in a geography holds more than one, the heck is that? I'll have to ignore it. Allow 2 open houses. If more than one club in a geography area, so let's say a group of clubs want to work together, they can, and they can all claim an open house. I've had this question. So let's say you're in, let's say Portland, and 4 clubs get together. They can all do a joint community kind of open house. Depending if you do a proposal, we'll get into that next. If more than one club in a geography holds a combined open house, each eligible incentive, you have to receive prior approval. So if you have more than one club, you gotta let me know. To receive awards to get approved, they gotta come through me. So a lot of people ask, so let's say we have an open house, and how do you get your $25? Well, this one you don't go through Concur. So what you do is you send me an email, and I send an email to the finance manager and the district director, and your club will be sent a check. Will go to the treasurer. So there's a lot of questions about it. We're not going to go Concur. We were doing that, but it came a little complicated. So that way, you just send your information, send your articles to the newsletter, do your short little write up, and if you get your 1 member, 2 members, we'll send you a check for $20 or $50. Trade shows. Now, what a trade show is, let's say you have a big event and you want to get a table. If you do a proposal and say you want to put a table in, or a bunch of clubs get together and want to put a table in, it's 400. We will give up to $450 to cover the cost of the table. The object of the trade show proposal is to encourage local clubs to get together and to promote club, like let's say, and we've got quite a few bites off depending where these are. We have done pretty good on the bites as long as there's follow-up. So you basically submit a proposal to me, I read it over. If I like it and you have a trade show, we will reimburse you up to $450. I don't think there's any criteria that I will have to follow up on. I just believe as long as you got receipts and prove you have been involved in the trade show. I will have to get clarity on that piece. I just realized it's probably going to be a question. Spring membership retention campaign. Clubs that have at least the same membership on April 1st as the base are eligible for a draw for a free conference registration. Winners will be selected by 2 draws on April 9th. One winner will be chosen from divisions A, B, and G, which is the U.S. divisions, and the other one will be divisions B, C, and E, which is the Canadian districts. So this is just sort of a try and encourage the clubs to keep their numbers roughly where they are, which is sometimes not always easy to do depending on where the club is. Talking up Toastmasters, so this is a TI one. And by adding 5 members between February 1st and March 31st, you'll receive a special. You'll get Talk Up Toastmasters ribbon to go on your banner, and you'll qualify for a discount code, which should be 10% off of club orders. This one's been around quite a while. Beat the Clock falls the same, but instead of it being like this one here is February 1st to March 31st, this one is from May 1st to June 30th. So if you're getting near the end there and you got to get 5 more members to get distinguished center, you're eligible for a Beat the Clock ribbon to be displayed on, and of course you get the 10%. So it's very similar other than the date. So Talk Up Toastmasters and Beat the Clock. So basically one is February and March and the other is May and June. Supporting existing clubs. Working with club coaches, club retention chairs, working with area and division directors to follow up on unpaid members. So one of the things that comes under club growth is following up on clubs that are not paid up. So usually that's done in conjunction with the VP of membership. Follow up with paid clubs, promote membership incentives, and of course, support open houses. I think I'm going a little fast here. Wow, that was a little fast. Any questions? I hope I'm getting lots of questions here because this was just a very broad coverage. I should have put more meat in here, I think.
Catherine, do you have any questions in the chat box?
There's none yet.
Oh. This was just a general coverage of club growth. I'm thinking in hindsight, maybe I should have picked a subject and we should have delved deeply into it. But any of these subjects, I don't mind backing up. So I usually get a lot of questions about club coaches. Now on the marketing committee, what's going on there is Toastmasters International has given us a new marketing template. And what we're doing right now is we've shortened it up. It was very, very long, and cut it down to size and just ask the division governors to ask us about 5 or 6 questions about the division, and we're populating a spreadsheet so we can get that into a spreadsheet because it's supposed to be, marketing's supposed to be a living item that is supposed to go on into the future. We just got to get a base of information to go forward with it. So we'll keep following up through December and January to get that finished.
Jim, who did you say was on the marketing committee?
Right now it's the division directors and Marion Taylor. And I'm going to be adding one more because we've lost a division director, but I don't want to put that in email. I talk to some people first. So that's what it is currently at the moment. So basically the theory is the division directors will ask the area directors these questions. There's not a lot of them. And then feed it, because the original spreadsheet was like it had about 5 or 6 tabs on it. So we took the tabs, we only set the tabs this time about a month ago, was just the stuff that's for the division, because we don't need, because a lot was just a whole lot of spreadsheets.
Okay, we've got a couple of questions now. So Joe from White Mountain Toastmasters wanted you to go over the spring member retention campaign again.
Okay, let me go back to that. Spring. Okay. So what that is, clubs that have at least the same membership on April 1st as they did at the base in July. So what we're saying is when you started your club, whatever we thought your membership was on July of 2019, if you have that number still, or have kept your numbers at that somehow by April 1st, then that will give you, it will be put into a draw. Like I said, it'd be one person from the 3 divisions, and it'll be one person in Canada and one person from the 3 divisions in Canada for the 2 people. Does that answer the question? Or?
I think so, and they can see that on their club report.
Okay.
The DCP report, right?
Yeah, it's on the DCP.
It shows them what their base amount was.
Yeah. Like if you look in your, I don't have it up here, but if you go into Toastmasters, you'll see when you look up your club, it'll say what your base amount is right up on the. There's just 3 boxes.
Club Central.
Yeah, Club Central. There's 3 boxes along top. One of them is it'll tell you what your base is.
So Heather Fairchild is asking, I'm in the process of sponsoring a club. Does the club have to be chartered for a certain amount of months before I get a credit for the sponsor?
Well, I'm not sure of that question. I'm thinking as long as you're a sponsor of the club, you'll get a credit for it. And I can follow up on that question. But I will follow up on that question. But I'm pretty sure is once you're appointed a sponsor and you stick with the club, I'm thinking it's a year for some reason, but I will find out.
Yeah. And Sergey, the webinar will be posted on the district YouTube channel, and you can find that from the District 45 webpage.
Yeah.
And Joe said, yes, you answered his question.
So what I'm going to do, I'm going to do one more webinar probably in January, February. I'm going to narrow down the topics. I realized this was a little too general and it went a little too fast.
Jim, it's Carolyn. I'm going to instead of going to the chat box, because I think I mess up the screen when I do that, and then people can't read your slides.
Okay.
With regards to TI and the marketing, what is the overview concept for them?
What the market committee is trying to find out is trying to identify leads in the division, just potential leads. Are there government organizations? Are there companies in the area? Just someone who knows who they are. Doesn't mean that you got to go knock on those companies' doors, but just sort of give us a sort of a sense of the demographic of the division. So does it have, like, for example, it was in Florenceville, it would have McCain's. If it was in Fredericton, it'd have the government. If in Halifax, it has the federal government. And just sort of a general idea of some of the possibilities that sort of get a feel for the area and sort of make a living document. So in the future, maybe they will come up with some kind of a marketing system for the Chamber of Commerce. I think they're trying to get a feel. I think what Toastmasters International is trying to do is trying to get a feel for the districts, what they consist of. I think they're trying to build what I call a database. That makes sense?
Thanks. Yeah.
Like, I'm not expecting you to start marketing to, the problems of Nova Scotia, but they're just trying to get an idea, if you're in Nova Scotia, what is in Halifax. What kind of companies are there? What's the demographic like?
Catherine, any more questions?
No, Heather was just making a note that she's trying to get her DTM by June. So knowing how long before she can submit her sponsor credit will be key for her.
Yeah, I don't 100% know the answer. I'm thinking as soon as you're registered as a sponsor, you're good. But I don't want to say that until I find out for sure. But as Heather was asking, I'll find out.
I'm just trying to see if I can find it quickly, but I'm not finding it real fast.
Yeah, I don't find things are always that easy to find on the site. you know, it's not a bad site, but sometimes I don't find you can always find things very quickly. Because all I know is that if someone becomes a sponsor, you know, and they get the nod and they're sponsoring that club, I'm assuming once they charter, you get your credit.
From the basement floor. Testing showed it contained a tiny speck.
Jim, it's Carolyn again. With regards to events and getting the $25, is that expanded? I know we talked last year when I did the barbecue, and I plan to do it again this year.
Yep.
But if clubs get together and have an event, whether
Yep.
it's a sample meeting or
Yep.
a social event,
that's what I was talking. Yep, that's
so
just let
all
me
that
know.
will still apply.
Yeah, so all you do is have to let me know. If it was big enough, you could probably call it a trade show. But if it's just like let's all use an example of Halifax. Let's say there's 5 clubs in Halifax hold an event. Yeah, you can all get credit if somebody joins. It's all recognized that you all work together, and each club can get a credit. Just let me know.
Thanks.
I will note that Paul Cunningham did make a note that he thought that it could come as soon as the paperwork was submitted, and that has to be done within 30 days of the charter.
I believe so. Yeah. That's why I'm thinking as soon as you charter.
No. Jennifer Bunsen? No, I don't see the first name for Bunsen. I don't remember who that is.
John Blensom.
John, okay. He's agreeing with Paul Cunningham that sponsorship ends with a charter too.
Yeah, I believe that's true, but I didn't want to say it until.
Oh. Do you, on your slide for the draw for the free conference, do you have Division D in that slide? No.
Oh.
You're missing D.
Okay, that includes
Jerry noted that.
B, C, D, and E. I didn't even notice that. Thank you for catching that.
B, well, you've got B twice, so.
Oh, do I got B twice?
Yeah. You just need to fix your slides to which divisions are in the U.S. and which ones are in Canada.
Okay, let's look here where I did that. I'll correct that and resend it. Where is that slide?
You went by it.
That's a good catch.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
They always say a mistake like that, it'll glare out at everybody in the room too. Yeah, you got a mistake on your slide. Okay, so I'll have to change that. So it should have been A, B, and G, and it should have been C, D, and E. I'll fix that.
Yep.
Thank you.
Serge is asking the $450 or even less is too much for a club for a trade show. So we pay first and then we get reimbursed?
I believe so, yes.
Yeah.
And to save it, it'll be done. Submit your request to me, and we'll send a check. We won't do it through Concur. We'll get it done fairly quickly because it's going to go right to the club treasurer. So. That makes sense?
They have to do a proposal first, right?
Yeah, they have to do a proposal, and then if I agree, well, of course, if the district director agrees too, but if there's an agreement, yeah.
So they can't just go out and pay, $500 for a table at a trade show, and then expect to get their money. They have to send them a proposal in first.
Yeah, but that's why we're doing it. That's why we're doing it. Like if they just scan the receipt, send it directly to us, and then we'll get it to Shane in the treasurer. We can pretty well get a check instead of going through the whole Concur thing. Shane and Kevin will just. If I'm going to make sure the proposal's agreed to. I wouldn't. If we're good with it, then it's just a matter of this. We can pretty well cut the delay down pretty quick. Because I know some clubs, tying up money is. That it? Well, But what I'm going to do in January or February, I should say, I'm going to find one of the subjects, maybe I'll get people to this, if they send me emails, something if they want a topic, and we'll narrow more in on a topic. We'll go for the forums and how to do things. This was just a very, what does club growth entail, and what is under that chair.
Does anybody else have any questions or comments or concerns? Everybody's so quiet tonight.
I know. I
can't
got such a riveting portfolio, you know.
You get specific training at like the training sessions. Will you be going to the training session after Christmas for the district? Do you attend that?
Do you mean the one that Shane's
Florida?
proposing?
Yeah, well, the Florida one.
Oh, the mid-year. The mid-year. It's not actually in
mid-year.
Florida, unfortunately. It's in Tennessee. You know.
Yeah.
Yes, I do. That's in late
They
January.
give you specific training, more specific training on your role. Is that the goal of it?
Yeah. Because for me, there's been a bit of learning here because of how this sort of all happened. So
Yeah.
I missed half the training. So a lot of it I've been briefed by Jonathan and Shane on most of what I know.
Any last comments, concerns, or questions?
Well, all I can say is thank you. I didn't know it was going to be as short as it was. But.
Well, thank you very much, Jim, for putting this together, and we really appreciate it. And we look forward to your new ones in January or February. When
so if people send me some emails, give me some ideas, some stuff you want me to drill down deeper, or maybe what the coaching process is or whatever, we can break it down and go through forms and go looking at the club board there and stuff. This was just meant to be a cover. I just know it was going to go this quick.
That's okay, no problem. So maybe when you do that one, you can have those forms and what have you can set those up separately that we can put on Google.
Yeah.
And people can download them at their convenience.
Yeah. Like maybe we can go over a sample proposal for a trade show or whatever, you know what I mean?
All sorts of ideas.
Yeah.
I have one for you, so we could use mine as a guinea pig. We better get it together.
Okay.
Great.
Well, thank you, everybody.
Yes, thank you. And I'd like to make a few comments and suggestions on not webinars, but I would like to thank our fabulous four, Shane and Jim and Jonathan and DJ, for all their hard work and all how we keep going forward with our district and making new and great district better than ever before. And I'd like to thank each and every one of you for participating in our webinars, because we're now gone from baby steps to, I believe, a bit further. I think the baby's up and walking now. And because of the interest and we share and the ideas we share, that this all goes toward making us a better district and making new relationships and building relationships within the district. I'd also like to wish everyone a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Joyeux Noël et une bonne année.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
One closing note, we're going to be distinguished this year, right?
That's right. Stay tuned for the next webinar, which should be January 5th. You keep your eyes out and we'll have the invitations out.
Okay, excellent.
Jim, you need a little coaching there. You need to say that with a little more force. And
is it? Oh, sorry.
On the right. So you want to say, we're going to be distinguished, right?
That right.
No question on that last word.
That's right. No qualifier. We're going to be distinguished. That's our district goal, and we're going to get there. And thank you,
Catherine, for your help this evening. Appreciate it.
Yep.
Good night, everyone. Safe home.
Good night.
Jim.
What?
Don't forget to send me the update of the webinar.
Yeah, I'm going to